It's okay.
There we go.
All right, his name is John Law. He has done comedy before. Very funny man and a good friend. So let's give it up for John Law.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. I normally like to rove around a little bit, but this is being videoed tonight, and I want to keep myself in the limelight. So, anyway, how do I look? I've just lost 15 pounds in 3 weeks. Now, I don't recommend my method. I had cancer surgery. In fact, I'm still drooling a little bit. And I'll get to those details in a minute. But I do want to mention something. In addition to recovering from my recent surgery, I'm just coming off bronchitis. And I was coughing so loud and so hard that it was hurting my gut. Anybody ever been there or done that? Now your head's pressuring. Put my hands on my head and cough, and guess what? It came out the other outlet. Have you ever farted so hard it hurts? Yeah! The only good thing about that is nobody notices because they're listening to your cough. The adjective that I can use to describe it is explosive. Now, the worst part about this deal is you don't have much advance notice. Now, most athletes do a warm-up, a pre-stretch. Not in this case. So anyway, as I was mentioning, just coming off cancer surgery. Yes, I beat cancer. Thank you. Of the tongue. Now, you might be wondering, how did I get that? Well, I never smoked, I never chewed, I'm not Michael Douglas or Charlie Sheen. The doc said I probably got it from running my mouth off too much. So, this isn't the first go-around. 2 years ago, I had the same thing. And our community came together and held a fundraiser for me. Anybody remember that? I was very touched and humbled by that. Thank you all very much. But I want to tell you, I don't expect the town to throw a spaghetti dinner for me every time I get cancer. This time, I was hoping for tri-tip. Next time for a finale, I'd like prime rib. And I've got my funeral planned out. Going to be a potluck. And if you bring a hot dish, I want some meat in it, honey. I don't want a bunch of rice and noodles, all right? And definitely nothing pureed. Anybody ever had to be on the puree diet? Again, helpful for losing weight. So the doc said they were going to they took out the right side of my tongue 2 years ago. This time it was the left side. And I tell you what, you do not realize how much you use your tongue until you lose the ability. It's swelled up. You use your tongue for eating, you use your tongue for swallowing, and most importantly, in my case, you use it for spitting. Anybody ever? No? Okay. Well, anyway, it was horrible. Trying to spit with no tongue, it basically amounts to blowing it out. Anyway, the doc said he's also going to open up my neck and take out all my lymph nodes. Probably a scar about that long. I said, well, hey, can you tuck it under one of my chins? He said, none of your chins are fat enough, pal. I'm hoping that some of this is swelling. I hate it when my chin jiggles when I'm talking. My brother, very nice guy, he said, well, hey, man, when they have your neck open, maybe they can install volume control on your voice box. Now, my wife jumped on that bag when she went down wagon. She wants a remote with a mute button. Yeah, that's what my life's like. I forgot to mention that I'm mainly going to be discussing medical issues tonight. I'm going to be using real-life medical situations pretty accurately and medical terms rather loosely. I can't really see the audience, but I don't see a whole lot of guys my age. Suffice it to say, I just made my first visit to the urologist. Anybody know what that means? Well, I'll explain it to you. Yes, I'm in my mid-50s, but it originally started for a vasectomy consultation. Believe it or not, my new wife is 51, and we have had a couple of scares. I'm thinking, man, I will be 70 when the baby graduates. Now, she was freaked out about having a baby and getting pregnant. I was nervous because I didn't have a boy name picked out yet. So anyway, I go to the vasectomy doctor. Loosely termed in layman's terms, the urologist is the pee doctor, okay? So they lock you in that exam room, and you have nothing to do. I think they leave you in there a long time on purpose, because all you got to do is stare at that tube of lubricating jelly and a pair of vinyl latex gloves. I'm getting more nervous by the minute trying to prep myself for this procedure. I do not know how you really do that. I comforted myself by looking at the size of the gloves. They were only mediums. I was happy about that. My primary doctor is a stocky Samoan. Anybody remember how big Andre the Giant's fingers were? He was poking around there and he goes, man, I gotta quit. I go, what's wrong? He goes, my finger's too short. I said, well, in that case, can you put my feet back on the ground? Anyway, sure enough, I always get the cute little blondes when I'm doing stuff like this. I would prefer it to be some old, ugly person, male or female. She comes in there and is going over all the vasectomy prep stuff with me. No joke, it's all printed out. I said, honey, I could read this. She goes, oh, we got to go over it. The first one is you got to thoroughly shave. And she said, you better do a good job because otherwise you're going to be dry shaved in the office and I'm not going to help you. And we use a straight razor, so if you make a mistake, well, you don't need the vasectomy. For recovery, they recommend you go home, take a couple Advil, and just lay horizontal. And to relieve swelling, try to elevate your stuff. Now, ladies or guys, have you ever tried to elevate something like that? It is not very easy. My wife and I came up with a great technique, but her arms got tired after about 2 hours. So we strung a clothesline across the living room. Worked out great. Now, this is kind of graphic, and pardon me if I offend you. But they want you to come back to make sure the thing worked, right? You got to provide a sample, and you have to wait 8 weeks and 20, you know what. I go, well, wait a minute, is that 8 weeks and 20? Or 8 weeks or 20? She goes, no, you're not coming back in a week or two, pal. The doc wants you to wait the full term. Make sure your pipes are cleaned out, as he says. I thought, well, there you go. Now the doctor comes in. Now, mind you, I originally scheduled a vasectomy consultation. By the time I went to my other doc, he put several other items on the referral list. One of them was a swelling issue that I've had for a few years. That was the result of my double hernia surgery. Matter of fact, that happened right before I started dating my wife. So the first 3 dates, I was kind of walking around always adjusting my pant. She goes, man, what's your problem? I said, well, it's kind of going down the wrong tube. So we spent our first 3 dates shopping for compression shorts for me. So anyway, this little blonde that was working on me, that was on my list. I go, yeah, I got that swelling issue. She goes, oh, there's a term for that. It's called chronic hyperseal. I said, okay. So anyway, the doc comes in, drop my drawers. He checks me for the hyperseal. He goes, well, if it's not getting in the way, not hurting or anything, don't worry about it. Pull up my pants. I said, okay. Now it's time for the glove. Got to drop my drawers again. So I spread my leg. He goes, oh, you spreading your leg? I go, isn't that what you're supposed to do? It just seemed natural. I don't know how I knew that. He goes, oh, you have a very nice prostate. I said, well, thank you very much. Pull my pants out. Now we start discussing the vasectomy. He goes, oh man, I forgot to examine you for a vasectomy. Third time, drop the drawers. So actually it was a massage, you know. Ladies, you don't know what you're missing. That is one of the most comforting massages on the planet. In this case, I didn't even care that it was a guy. He goes, well, I got the valves on the left side, that's no problem, but this hyperseal, that may create an issue. So he's feeling around, he goes, I'm not sure we can do that in the office. I said, well, what happens if you only do one nut? He said, well, then you're going to have only girls. honey, how would you like to tell your daughter? Honey, you know, some people are right-brained. In your case, it's a little different. So anyway, we got done talking about that whole thing, and it was kind of embarrassing, but I was happy to get out of there. Pulled my pants up for the last time. Now, my daughter has heard about some of my medical history stuff, so she decided to become an RN. How much time we got? 1 minute? So while she was at nursing school, she came to me and she said, Dad, it's father-daughter debut college. You want to go? I said, sure, baby. What class? She goes, oh, cadaver dissection. I go, great. You mean that class I banned discussion of at the table? Yeah, so we go there, we glove up. Long story short, we look at the whole thing and it was kind of gross. Anyway, I was glad she was wearing rubber gloves. And at the end of the deal, she goes, do you want to see any organs? And I said, well, sure. I saw the heart and the liver and the lungs. She pulls out a thing on the bottom and is holding a 10-inch you-know-what in her hand. We get out of there. I said, where are we going? She goes, where are we going for lunch, Dad? I said, I don't know, anywhere but Der Wiener Schnitzel. Thank you all very much. And here's Jonny.
Thank you, John. Let's hear it again for John Wall.